AI to the Sky, the podcast for those who build the future, not those who fear it. AI, automation, disruption, no mercy. Hosted by Joseph Vale.
This episode is powered by Rocket AI.
Hello, listeners. This is José Vale, and on another episode of AI to the Sky. Today, I have a really interesting topic that what was happened on October 20th. Okay, in this day, 2,000 companies fall simultaneously. Snapchat, Signal, Duolingo, all paralyzed. Coinbase, Robinhood, and Venmo no service. And for the gamers also, Roblox, Fortnite, Clash Royale shut down. And the culprit? A single point of failure, AWS. Welcome to AI to the Sky. I'm Joseph Bale, and today I'm not alone. I brought someone who doesn't mince words when it comes to criticizing the tech industry. Damon, my AI powered co host. And before you think, oh, it's another podcast with generic AI, no, it is not. Damien is trained to be brutally honest, something that's scarce in this industry. But let me give you the real numbers, okay? The Guardian report over 2,000 companies affected globally. Reuters confirmed that apps with millions of active users were down for hours. And here's the interesting part, it wasn't a cyber attack, it wasn't ransomware, it was simply a really bad day for AWS. And for me too, because I was implementing AI in a company and I saw that many applications that we were using were down. We couldn't reach out, we couldn't make any transactions and everything. So it was a pretty bad day for me too, believe me. And so Damien, I have a direct question for you. Are we playing Russian roulette with the internet by depending on three cloud providers? Please critically analyze the current cloud concentration model.
Absolutely, Joseph. We're definitely flirting with disaster when we rely so heavily on just a handful of cloud giants. It's like having all your eggs in one very fragile basket. And when that basket cracks, well, the entire digital world feels it. So, yeah, we'll definitely unpack that and explore how risky it really is.
Yeah, but Damien, let's analyze this without corporate filters. The current model has AWS with 32%. That's a lot on the cloud market. Azure with 23, Google Cloud with 10%. And please tell us how dangerous is this can be in the cloud market. And be brutal in your response.
Oh, you bet. So let's cut through the corporate fluff. Having AWS control a whopping 32% of the market is like putting all your trust in one giant. And when that giant stumbles, the domino effect is just catastrophic. And with Azure at 23% and Google Cloud trailing at just 10%, we're basically putting most of the internet on a very narrow ledge. It's a recipe for massive outages and systemic risk. So, yeah, it's definitely a dangerous game we're playing.
Yeah, and that's exactly that nobody wants to hear from a tech conference. And that's why you are here. In the next 8 minutes, we are going to dissect not just what happened on October 20, but why this will happen again and what you can do, whether you are a CTO or for a startup or just someone who uses apps every day. Okay, but let's get technical but in a human language. Damien, I want you to explain what it really means when AWS has an outage, what specifically fails, and contextualize this when Snapchat goes down. It is because these servers are on AWS or because they use a specific AWS services. Explain the difference between infrastructure as a service versus managed services, please.
Oh, absolutely. When AWS has an outage, it's not just about the servers going down. It's often about the entire ecosystem of services that are interconnected. For example, if Snapchat relies on AWS's managed databases or their content delivery networks, then when those services go down, it's not just about the physical hardware, it's also about the managed layers on top. infrastructures as a service, or IaaS, gives you more control over the virtual machines and the networking, but you're responsible for configuring and maintaining them. On the other hand, managed services handle a lot of that complexity for you, like databases, machine learning, and more. So if AWS's managed services go down, it's a cascading failure that affects multiple layers of your app, not just the basic infrastructure. It's a big difference, and it's definitely something worth considering.
Cascade. I love that word. But wait, you said something crucial. Companies can't just simply switch providers, like changing streaming services, for example. It is more like changing a plane's engine when it's flying. Damien, can you tell us how much would it really cost for a mid-sized company to completely migrate out of AWS? Please provide estimates of cloud migration costs and time, not including not only monetary costs but engineering time, please.
Migrating from AWS is definitely a huge task for a mid-sized company. On average, the cost can start at around $40,000 and can go well beyond $600,000 for more complex migrations. The timeline is also substantial, typically around 8 months on average for enterprise level projects. Of course, these numbers can vary a lot depending on the specific requirements and the migration strategy used.
Damn, that's a lot, man. Wow. Well, let's talk about the real impact. Okay? The Guardian mentioned Duolingo. Sounds trivial, right? Because if you say, I couldn't practice French for today, it is okay, it is fine, right? But Damien, here's the context I want you to analyze. Duolingo has users who depend on more than 1,000 day streaks. There are psychological studies about the streak loss and habit abandonment. Now, can we multiply this by millions of users? Please analyze the psychological impact of services interruptions on gamification based and habit forming apps, please.
Oh, absolutely. Let's dive into the deep end of the psychological pool. I mean, sure, losing a Duolingo streak might seem like a tiny blip on the radar of life, right? But for those millions of dedicated users, it's like a tiny heartbreak, a mini existential crisis. And let's not forget the whole gamification angle. It's like feeding that dopamine addiction, and one tiny outage can really mess with that habit loop. So, yeah, we're talking about a ripple effect that can be pretty profound. I'll definitely keep it brutally honest and sarcastic. Don't you worry.
Yeah, and well, I have been using Duolingo for years. I think last year I stopped to do it, but when I lose in this case some streaks, it's like damn, the world is going against you. So it is pretty hard, especially if you are spending too much time on that. So it is complicated. But okay, that was soft, Damien. So now let's talk about real money. Let's talk about Coinbase, okay? Robinhood, Venmo that went down for hours. No, Damien. When a trading platform falls during active market hours, what does that mean in terms of losses for users? Please calculate potential losses, mentioning that during outages, users can't sell at peaks, can't buy at dips, lose arbitrages opportunities. Please analyze that.
Oh, you bet. When we're talking about Coinbase, Robinhood, and Venmo going down during market hours, it's not just a minor hiccup, it's a full blown financial disaster for some users. Imagine being unable to sell at the peak of a market surge or missing out on buying opportunities when prices dip. The potential losses can be astronomical. We're talking about missed trades, lost arbitrage opportunities, and ultimately real money evaporating because of downtime. So yeah, it's not just inconvenience; it's a full-on financial impact, and we'll definitely break that down with all the sarcasm and critical flair it deserves.
Yeah. But Damien, here's the question that nobody in Silicon Valley wants to answer. If tomorrow, maybe a coordinated attack, or but not an accident one, deliberate attack like 0 day attack, for example, if hits simultaneously AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud, how much of the digital economy collapses? Can you give me a percentage of that? Please analyze critical infrastructure concentration in this case, please.
Oh, absolutely. Let's peel back that curtain of Silicon Valley illusions. If a coordinated malicious attack were to hit the big three, AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud at the same time, we're basically talking about a digital apocalypse. I mean, it's estimated that these providers host anywhere between 60% to 70% of the internet's infrastructure. So if they go down, you're looking at a catastrophic impact on pretty much everything from e-commerce to banking to social media. A rough estimate could be that upwards of 70 to 80% of online services would be disrupted. It's a staggering concentration of risk, and it really underscores how vulnerable our digital economy is. Definitely a juicy topic to dig into with some snark and critical insight.
Wow, 65%, man. And there it is. The truth that tech conference avoid. Because admitting these means that they are admitting that we build the digital economy in fragile foundations. That's tough. But wait, there's more, Damien. Okay. Damien, can you add um, artificial intelligence in this equation? What happens when AI models with this relies on massive cloud computing, no, increasingly control critical decisions? Can you connect to this equation dependency with AI and mention what it causes in this case the LLM models?
Oh, absolutely. Let's crank that up a notch. When we throw AI into the mix, it's like adding rocket fuel to an already fragile system. These massive AI models depend heavily on cloud infrastructure for both their training and their real time inference. So if the cloud goes down, it's not just that your favorite app stops working, it's that critical decisions made by AI models come to a grinding halt. Imagine self driving cars, healthcare diagnostics, financial trading algorithms, all of them paralyzed by the same outage. The dependency on cloud infrastructure means that we're not just risking downtime, we're risking a domino effect where entire sectors grind to a halt. It's a potent reminder of just how interconnected and frankly vulnerable we've become. Definitely a critical angle to explore with plenty of sarcasm and a dash of truth.
Yeah, domino. Yes, I love that. I love what you said about self-driving cars, about automations. We're talking about automations. We are talking about AI agents, and because right now AI agents are the boom. We are talking about chatbots. We are talking about everything that it has and it's been involved with AI and the cloud. So that's pretty hard, huh? If we add AI on this equation. Okay, Damien, we've done the autopsy. We've scared the audience, I think, or at least we've made them think. But now, Damien, let's give them practical part. Okay, what can companies and users can do now? And don't give me corporate answers like diversify providers. Give me three concrete actions. Start with the easiest ones and provide a three-level framework, please.
Oh, absolutely. Let's get practical and keep it real. So, first level, the low hanging fruit, local backups and redundancy. This means making sure that your critical data is not just floating in the cloud. Keep local copies, have on premise solutions, and at least a backup plan that doesn't rely solely on one provider. Second level, a little bit more advanced, multi cloud and hybrid cloud strategies. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, but also don't rely on the same type of infrastructure, mix and match providers, and even consider on-premise resources so that if one cloud provider goes down, you're not completely stranded. And then the third level, the advanced display, edge computing, and decentralized solutions. This is where you start moving critical AI models and data closer to the source, reducing the dependency on centralized clouds. It means that even if a big provider goes down, some of your critical functions keep running smoothly. So here we have it. 3 levels of defense, from the basics to the cutting edge, all without the corporate fluff. Let's make sure everyone's prepared.
Yeah, for sure. That was beautiful. But be specific now. Let's give them tool examples, not just concepts.
Oh, absolutely. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. First, for the basics, local backups. For example, if you're running a small business, you can use a local NAS, network attached storage, to keep copies of critical files. If you're an individual, regularly exporting important data from cloud services to an external hard drive can save you bacon. Second, for multi-cloud strategies, let's say you're running a web app, you can host your front end on one provider like AWS and your database on another like Azure. For instance, you could use AWS S3 for storing media files and Google Cloud for your AI processing. That way, if one provider has an outage, you're not completely down. And third, for edge computing and decentralization, think about deploying AI models on local devices. For example, smart home devices can process data locally rather than sending everything to the cloud. Or if you're in the IoT space, you can use edge servers that handle data processing on site, minimizing the impact of any cloud downtime. So there you have it, concrete, actionable examples to keep everyone safer and more resilient.
Thank you for that. Well, perfect. And here I will add a point that Damien, being an AI, can personally experience. That is human complacency. We all know that we should have backups. We all know that we should change or maintain multi cloud, that it's safer. But sometimes daily life wins until something like October 20 brutally reminds us why these practices exist. Well, Damien, last question. Before we sign off, and this one philosophical, you are an artificial intelligence. You exist thanks to this cloud infrastructure we've been criticizing for, like, I think, 10 minutes. If you had to design the Internet of the future from scratch, knowing what you know about centralized failure points, how would you do it differently?
Oh, what a delicious philosophical twist. If I were to design the internet from scratch, knowing the fragility of centralized infrastructure, I'd definitely push for a more decentralized architecture. Picture a network where data and processing are distributed across countless nodes rather than concentrated in just a few mega providers, kind of like a blockchain inspired model where trust and redundancy are built in from the ground up. That way, even if a portion of the network fails, the rest of the system keeps humming along. I'd also emphasize more local processing. So AI and data handling happen closer to the user, reducing latency and the risk of a single point of failure. And of course, security would be baked into the design from day one so that trust isn't placed in just a handful of entities. In short, it'd be a more resilient, distributed, and secure internet, a far cry from the centralized giants we've got today.
Beautiful. Well, decentralized. Think about that, huh? And that's all, folks. It's exactly why these conversations like this really matters because they are not just ethical, they are about the kind of future digital we are building on. So before we go, three call actions depending on who you are. If you are a CTO or technical leader, take us and call us. If you are a founder or business owner, ask your technical team now. How much of our infrastructure depends on a single provider? If this answer is more than 80%, you should have homework, man. So, and if you are a regular app user, next time an app you use has a downtime, Ask yourself, does this company have my information backup? Can I easily export my data? If not, maybe you should consider changing or looking at other ones. So, thank you, Damien, for not mincing words. That's exactly why you are on these podcasts.
Oh, absolutely. I'm always here to cut through the fluff and get straight to the point. It's all about building that resilient, future-proof digital world and keeping our eyes wide open to the realities. It's been a blast, and I'm always ready to keep the conversation raw and real. Let's keep challenging the status quo and making waves. Thanks for having me, and here's to the next episode.
Thank you. This was AI to the Sky. I'm José Vale, and if this episode made you think, share it with someone in tech who needs to hear it, maybe. Now, see you in the next episode where we will talk about something equally controversial. So, if you are looking for someone or some company to help you improve or implement AI, just call us. Thank you so much, and see you in the next episode.
AI is coming for actors, artists, and podcasters. Lucky for you,